Core identity and creed. The Faceless Men are assassin priests of Braavos who worship death as the many-faced god. They frame each killing as a sacrament, not a personal act. This doctrine imposes constraints: no vanity, no vendettas, no collateral casualties. Valar Morghulis, all men must die, states the universality of death. Valar Dohaeris, all men must serve, defines the assassin as a servant, enabling the god's will when properly petitioned. They regard every culture's death deity, the stranger, black goat, lion of night, as facets of one truth. Their temple, the House of Black and White, displays multiple idols in a space patterned in stark black and white to signify balance and inevitability. Payment for a contract functions as sacrifice rather than fee. It must cost the petitioner something truly dear. Internally, priests accept a contract only if they judge the target marked, aligning the assignment with religious duty, not commerce. Operationally, the ideal assassination is invisible. The result, a body and a plausible cause such as illness, accident, or untraceable poison, must point to fate, not to a killer with motive. Erasing selfhood serves this goal. Recruits surrender name, possessions, and loyalties to become no one, removing the investigative trail that motive creates. In the books, this system is staffed by multiple priests and acolytes. The TV series compresses roles into a mentor and the waif. In both, discipline, patience, and precision transform belief into method. Face changing and disguise. The signature ability of the Faceless Men is the power to change appearance by wearing the faces of the dead. In the books, this is not a simple mask, but a ritual process. A preserved face is softened, applied to the acolyte, and bound with blood and potion. The assassin feels their own features beneath but outwardly presents the deceased's likeness, complete with scars, teeth, and hair. The process sometimes transfers fragments of the dead person's memories in dreams, giving the wearer insight into their past. In the TV series, this ability is visualized as pulling on or removing a thin mask without explanation of blood or potion, but the result is the same. They can impersonate anyone whose face has been taken. Alongside true face changing, the Order also trains in mummer's tricks. These are stage techniques such as makeup, costume, and vocal mimicry, which extend the illusion beyond the face itself. Sorcerous glamours, minor magical illusions may also be used, though the Faceless Men insist their method goes deeper, creating a disguise indistinguishable from natural identity. A crucial limitation remains. Body size and shape cannot be altered beyond plausibility. A very small person cannot convincingly pass as a very tall one. This rule ensures that the assassin selects faces suited to their build and relies on acting skill and costume to complete the role. Identity performance, voice, posture, habit, is trained as rigorously as the face itself to sustain the deception. Stealth, infiltration, and combat skills. Faceless Men are not soldiers seeking open battle. Their discipline is tailored for silent killing, precision, and disappearance. The Order's philosophy requires that only the target dies, ideally without realizing they were attacked. This principle shapes every technique taught in the House of Black and White. Infiltration relies on patience and timing. A faceless man may study a target's routine for weeks, adopting a disguise that allows close access. The strike is designed to look like accident, illness, or misfortune. Methods include a blade slipped between ribs in the dark, cup of poisoned wine, or a staged fall. Purpose is not spectacle, but inevitability. Death arrives naturally, leaving no trace of the assassin's presence. Combat training emphasizes control and adaptability. Recruits spar with staffs, daggers, and unarmed techniques until they can fight effectively under any condition. A signature exercise is blind combat. By fighting while deprived of sight, acolytes sharpen hearing, touch, and spatial awareness, learning to sense an opponent through sound and movement. Arya Stark undergoes this training, eventually able to fight fluidly in darkness. Physical conditioning extends beyond weapons. Students practice ruling their faces and body language so no emotion or pain betrays them. They learn to remain motionless for long periods, to control breath and step, and to conceal intent until the instant of the strike. This combination of stealth, precision, and sensory mastery creates assassins who can enter and exit unseen, leaving behind only a body and mystery. Poison mastery and alchemy. The Faceless Men treat poisons as sacred tools for granting the gift of death. Their temple contains a central pool filled with a painless poison. Supplicants who come seeking release drink from it and pass quietly, making poison both a religious sacrament and a practical weapon. Recruits are trained to prepare, administer, and identify toxins in all forms. Instruction covers a wide catalog. Sweet sleep is a sweet liquid that calms in small doses but causes death in larger amounts. The tears of lies is odorless and colorless, producing a slow, wasting illness that seems natural. The strangler causes rapid asphyxiation when dissolved in liquid. Basilisk blood induces madness before killing. Each has unique signs, doses, and delivery methods. Trainees are taught to recognize these substances by color, odor, and even taste, ensuring they can both employ and detect them. Poisons are not limited to combat targets. Novices mix blinding potions used in training, such as the milk that temporarily robs sight. Ritual potions also play a role in face-binding ceremonies, softening the new skin and binding it to the assassin's features. Knowledge of antidotes and sedatives accompanies this education, as an assassin may need to feign illness, calm a subject, or survive exposure. By mastering poison, faceless men expand their range of methods. A target may collapse at a feast, die quietly in bed, or fall into madness. All outcomes that disguise the assassin's hand while still delivering the god's gift. Religion and rituals of the many-faced god. The faceless men's methods are inseparable from their theology. They believe all death deities across cultures are faces of one divine power, the many-faced god. The stranger of the seven, the black goat of Kohor, and the lion of night in Yitai are seen as regional aspects of the same truth. Death is inevitable and merciful. Their temple reflects this syncretism with idols from many faiths placed together in one hall. The House of Black and White serves both as sanctuary and training ground. Common people enter seeking release from pain, drinking from the black pool that grants a painless end. This act is considered receiving the god's gift. Priests and novices assist in these rituals, preparing bodies with reverence afterward. The dead are washed, stripped of possessions, and carried to the vaults beneath. From there, their faces are harvested, cured, and preserved for later use in assassination. This practice creates the Hall of Faces, a chamber where thousands of visages hang as sacred instruments. Daily worship is simple. Gatherings at dawn and dusk for prayers beside the pool. No hymns or spectacles accompany the rites, only quiet devotion. Clothing symbolizes duality. Full priests wear robes half black and half white. Novices, plain garments of the same colors. Payment for contracts functions as sacrifice. The price must be costly to the petitioner, reflecting surrender to the god. Only after rituals and deliberation do the priests decide if a target is marked for death, ensuring each assassination aligns with religious duty. Training pathway for recruits. The first stage of training demands abandonment of identity. Recruits discard names, possessions, and attachments, answering only as no one. This erasure of self is the foundation for all later skills, because an assassin with no personal motives cannot betray the order's purpose. Novices begin with servitude in the House of Black and White. They clean floors, fetch water, and prepare bodies of the dead. These menial tasks teach humility and obedience. Recruits also observe temple rituals, learning to accept death as gift rather than tragedy. Language and cultural training follow. Students memorize foreign tongues and customs so they can blend across regions. In the books, Arya studies Braavosi dialects and High Valyrian, equipping her to assume disguises beyond Westeros. The game of faces is central to psychological conditioning. Two participants question each other, responding with truths or lies. The goal is to lie convincingly while detecting falsehoods in others. Failure brings immediate correction, often physical punishment, reinforcing emotional control and mastery of expression. Instruction in poisons accompanies this stage. Under guidance, recruits handle lethal and medicinal substances, learning symptoms, doses, and counteragents. Exposure builds both knowledge and resilience. Blindness training is imposed as punishment and lesson. Deprived of sight, students hone hearing, touch, and balance. They spar with staves, navigate streets, and survive by heightened non-visual senses. Final stages include face adoption through ritual, then a sanctioned assassination of a chosen target. Only after completing this mission precisely as ordered is a trainee considered a true, faceless man. Tools, weapons, and artifacts. The most important tools are the preserved faces stored in the Hall of Faces. These are taken from the dead who received the god's gift, treated with special preparation, and cured for later use. When applied with blood and potion, they allow the wearer to assume a new identity completely. Each face is considered sacred, serving the god long after its original owner has died. Poisons form the second major category of tools. The guild maintains an arsenal ranging from the strangler, which suffocates rapidly, to the tears of lies, which mimic illness, and sweet sleep, which induces death in high doses. These substances enable deaths that appear natural or accidental. Potions used for training in ritual, such as the blinding milk or the binding liquid for faces, also fall into this category. Weapons are practical and varied. Faceless men carry daggers, garrots, and darts, preferring compact tools suited for surprise. They rely less on swords or open combat, and more on instruments that kill quickly and quietly. A poisoned dart, or a knife in the dark, accomplishes the task without spectacle. Costumes and props complement the faces. Clothing, personal items, and even mannerisms complete the disguise. Recruits learn to act convincingly as beggars, merchants, or nobles by combining the right attire with the mask. Finally, the iron coin marked with the phrase Valar Morghulis serves as credential. It identifies the bearer to Braavosi and grants passage to the House of Black and White, symbolizing the Order's reach and influence. Book and TV differences. In the novels, Arya's primary teacher is the kindly man, a priest with a skull-like visage. The temple hosts multiple priests and acolytes, presenting the Order as a staffed religious institution. In the TV series, this is condensed to Jaqen H'ghar and the Waif. Jaqen serves as Arya's mentor, effectively merging two roles, while the wider community is absent. This simplification shifts the guild from an organization to a personal duo. Training depth diverges significantly. The books depict Arya spending long months in menial work, studying languages, and practicing lies. She assumes multiple false identities, such as Cat of the Canals and Blind Beth, to internalize disguise. The TV version emphasizes physical struggle, staff fighting, blindness, and sparring with the waif, while minimizing scholarly and cultural lessons. The mechanics of face changing are more defined in the books. Rituals, blood, and potion bind faces to flesh, and Arya experiences flashes of memory from the dead. The show presents it visually as masks that can be donned or removed without ritual. This choice removes limitations, allowing feats such as Arya impersonating Walder Frey despite differences in body and voice. The waif's portrayal also differs. In the books, she is strange and detached, but not vindictive. In the series, she develops a personal rivalry with Arya, contradicting the doctrine of being no one. Finally, Arya's exit diverges. In the books, she remains an acolyte in Braavos. In the series, she openly declares herself Arya Stark, and Jaqen allows her to walk away with her training intact. If you thought the Faceless Men were ruthless, wait until you see what the Starks went through. From friends turned foes to allies turned assassins, every betrayal explained. Click on the video on your screen now